Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to go through step by step how to create your very own sticker mini kit. And I'm going to break this up into a couple different segments of videos. And so today we're going to start with a full box, a half box, and a quarter box. Very simple things. And I'm going to start off by explaining things like you have never used Silhouette before. So this is a total beginner's tutorial. So the first thing we're going to do is look at our registration marks, which is these right here. That's what the Silhouette is going to read, so it knows where to cut. So if you open a document and you don't have these, then you need to go over here and put these on here. And you click on this box here, off, which means you have none. There's a cameo, portrait, and the curio, which is probably what you're going to pick. So here you go. And then these right here will change the length and the thickness of the marks. I usually go with like a longer mark because my Silhouette seems to be kind of finicky sometimes and it's easier for it to read. And then I go down to the insert and I usually pick the smallest setting so I have the biggest print area. Otherwise, as you can see, the red line is going further in, and that so your print area is getting smaller, and so I don't really want to do that. So we go here, and now I have a nice blank large document. So I'm going to show you what I usually do is I created templates of what I like to include in my mini kits. You can see I got full boxes here, some quarter boxes, half boxes, the Monday through Friday box, a couple heart boxes, appointment, bill due, and these little headers. And I also like to include this right here, which is like a cutout, so that way when people print the stickers, they'll have like two nicely cut sheets, and they're easy to like store away, and you don't have like this big letter size sheet. And here's my other box, or my other page. This basically stays the same, numbers and my weekend script and a bunch of little functional icons. And then we got the bottom, the thick bottom washi, small heart boxes, and Monday through Friday covers. So let's get started. Now this is going to be sized for an Erin Condren. So I usually start with these three. Now the reason I have these three here, the red one is your actual cut line, the blue one will be your offset, and this one is like your middle part, if in case you want to have a little bit white space in the middle. So what I'm going to show you is how you would create this from scratch. So I'm going to put this back, and we're going to go back to our blank page. So we're going to go over here to our shapes, and it gives us all our shapes. Probably the only ones you're going to be using would be the square, the rounded rectangle, and the circle. I have never used this other one here. So let's start with a square. For an Erin Condren, it is 1500 by 1900, or 1.9 by 1.5. So let's get kind of close. There we go, it's pretty close. Okay, so once you get it pretty close, you can then go over here and tweak the size a little bit. So it's pretty close. So 1.5 by 1.9. And there you go. And that is a perfect size for the Erin Condren full box. Now the next thing that I like to do is go to the offset panel, which is right here. And we're going to create an offset. That way you're gonna get a little more print area. That way if it cuts a little bit beyond where you want it to cut, it's still gonna look good. So the first thing I'm gonna do is pick the sharp corners and not the rounded corners. And I like to do the 0.030 is what I usually like to do for the offset. And I'm gonna kind of zoom in here so you can see. So this bigger one here is where we're gonna put our main graphic. And I'm gonna change it to blue. And I always do that so I just don't, you know, get them mixed up. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go and pick our graphic. So I'm gonna go to my patterns here. Now I have several loaded in here, and also you could pick one from a file, but I'm just gonna choose one of these that I already have preloaded here. I'm just gonna pick some glitter. Let's go with that one there. So there we go. We got some nice burgundy type glitter. And the next thing we're gonna do is look at our options for what we can do with our pattern. So this is a transparency. It makes it lighter and darker, and we want to kind of leave that alone. The next thing we can look at is your angle, if you want to kind of rotate it in any way. And then this will make it closer, so as you can see the glitter is more obvious, and then you go a little bit further out. And I'm going to go somewhere like in the middle. Let's go like with that one right there. And the pan will take your pattern in case you want to move it around. So the next thing I do, since I had this was a blue outline, if you remember, so we're going to go over here, and this is our cut line color. So I'm going to take the color away. So now that blue line is totally gone, and we're going to join these two. We're going to line them up just like that. And now it will cut perfectly. Let's see if we can zoom in, if you can see this or not. Now let's pick a different color just so you can see it a little better. Let's go with a pattern this time. There we go. So as you can see, this is our offset right here. This is where our pattern is. And then here's our cut line. And that's just perfect, because if it cuts just a smidge off in either direction, it'll still look good. And that's what we want. So let's go back to our mini kit and look at our next box that I have. We're gonna go look at this one here, and this is a quarter box. And let's just copy this over to our new page. And that's kind of how I do it, is I'll like copy and paste from other kits and things. And this just makes it easier for when you're creating your kit. The first time you make it, it's going to be the longest. And after that, you can save a template like I did. Now, like before, this is my offset box. This is my cut line. And this is the inside line. Now, I'm going to show you what the inside line can be used for. So, I'm going to pick a darker color. Let's go with the pattern. That's a darker pattern. We're going to take away our blue box, just like before, our outline. And we're going to put this, we're going to bring this to the front. Yeah, you always want to have your lines, well, you don't have to have them in the front, but it just helps so you can see them where they're at. Now this one, if you bring this to the front, yeah, you go to Object, Arrange, and Bring to Front, and it'll put whatever you're pointing to right on top. So there we go, that's on top now. So now we have, so now we have a white space you can write in and still have that cute little pattern around the border. And if you remember, I had that green line around it, and that was just so I could see it. Otherwise, it would be totally transparent like it would look like that. You would be able to see it. So that's why it was green. So there we go. And then I'm going to line that one up. And once you line everything up, you can group it. And what that'll do is it'll keep it all together so it doesn't move. Like this one's not grouped, and as you can see, I can kind of move those around. So if you want to make sure that they don't get shoved around, group them. I used to group everything, but I don't anymore because I've been using the layer panel a lot. And I will show what you can do with layers in another video, because that's another video all of its own. So the next box we're going to go with will be like this half box. And we're going to copy that over. So here we are. And I will include the dimensions of these boxes in the description so you can create them on your own very easily. So it's like the other two boxes, 0.902 by 1.560, that's your offset. The actual size 1.5 by 0.842. Not quite like half a box, but it's pretty close. So it's about, you know, a little bit less. Because if you did two of these, you would have like maybe that little space left over. So it's approximate, but not quite half a box. Okay, so let's go in here and create another cool pattern. Now a lot of these patterns came with your silhouette, like all these up here. And the ones down here are the ones that I included. Now let's put this one in here because I'm going to show you how to do like scale and angle, and it would be easier to see with this. Okay, so here we go again. Angle, that's going to kind of rotate it. Scale, it's going to bring it closer, and I've done this, like I brought it up close like this. I think it looks really cool. And then you can kind of move it to see like the colors. Like say you had a pink colored kit, you can kind of go over here, kind of go up close, and then you have this really neat effect of just the pink portion of that. Let me get rid of this little, there we go. I like it, it's cute, so cute. Alright, take away the blue line, and then we're going to bring our line to the front, our cut line. So now it's in front, and this is our other box. So as you can see, this one has a transparency to it. And I do this a lot when there's like a darker color or pattern, so that way if you're writing on it, you can actually still see it. And this is about 50%. I mean, you could make it less, you can make it more, but I like it around 50% is what I usually go with. And so before we group these together, I'm going to take away this green line so you don't have, so it doesn't cut the inside of your box. So we're going to group that, and there we go. So there we go, we have your 3 first boxes. Very simple. I'm going to go through the cutting. I'm not actually going to cut with you, but I'll show you the settings that I use. Now look at this. Okay, see, I messed up. So as you can see right here, I have all these lines still there. Let's see. Oh, actually, maybe not. Okay. So this is how I usually cut. I go to the line and it's just going to cut anything in red. If I had left like all those other different colors, there would be like a line of here of a bunch of different colors. Maybe I'll go back. I'll show you what it would look like if I would have left it. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the blue. Like if I uncheck it, it disappears. Check it, comes right back. So if I had different colors that do different things, like if I had a outside line like I usually include in my kits, then that would be blue. And that way you can have different settings for different colors. And I have for blue, I always use, it's usually my outline. So I usually do a custom setting. Chances are you'll be doing custom settings for everything because every silhouette is a little bit different. Like I went from a portrait to a silhouette and this cut settings were, it was like night and day. So I have, you know, one sticker paper, cutout sticker, which means it's going to cut all the way through the paper. So that's what I usually use for blue. In the red, I usually do number 1. And what I mean by outline, let me show you, is this one right here. That way it's cutting out your paper for you. If you were to have your own sticker shop and you wanted to make nice even cuts to send to people, that is what that was for. Okay, so go back here, you pick your tool, an auto blade, a ratchet blade, or a deep cut blade, and I always use an auto blade. And then from there you could just send it to your silhouette and you'd be good to go. So I think that's about everything for this tutorial. I will be going through the other things in my kit, such as this Monday through Friday box, the heart box, all that kind of good stuff in other tutorials, and breaking this up into pieces. That way it's easy for you to refer back to. So if you have any other questions or any other tutorials you're looking for, please post in the comments below, and please subscribe and like, and have a great day. Thank you.